Good morning. I had started this morning reading. I thought, I'm going to take something that's been on my list for a while. This is C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. And of course, I've read it before, but I wanted to look at it with fresh eyes. And so I flipped here to the preface and I found something that's come up a lot in this little corner of the internet. And I just wanted to read it. Um, I hope no reader will suppose that mere Christianity is here put forward as an alternative to the creeds of the existing communions, as if a man could adopt it in preference to Congregationalism or Greek Orthodoxy or anything else. It is more like a hall out of which doors open into several rooms. If I can bring anyone into that hall, I shall have done what I attempted. But it is in the rooms, not in the hall, that there are fires and chairs and meals. The hall is a place to wait in, a place from which to try the various doors, not a place to live in. For that purpose, the worst of the rooms, whichever that may be, is, I think, preferable. It is true that some people may find they have to wait in the hall for a considerable time, while others feel certain almost at once which door they must knock at. I do not know why there is this difference, but I am sure God keeps no one waiting unless he sees that it is good for him to wait. When you do get into your room, you will find that the long wait has done you some good, some kind of good which you could not have had otherwise. But you must regard it as waiting, not as camping. You must keep on praying for light, and of course, even in the hall, you must begin trying to obey the rules which are common to the whole house. And above all, you must be asking which door is the true one, not which pleases you best by its paint and paneling. In plain language, the question should never be, do I like that kind of service, but are these doctrines true? Is holiness here? Does my conscience move me towards this? Is my reluctance to knock at this door due to my pride, or my mere taste, or my personal dislike of this particular doorkeeper? When you have reached your own room, be kind to those who have chosen different doors, and to those who are still in the hall. If they are wrong, they need your prayers all the more, and if they are your enemies, then you are under orders to pray for them. This is one of the rules common to the whole house. I guess I was reading this because a number of people have recommended this book to me, and then I've heard that metaphor many times recently. So, giving that a read and thinking about that, this idea that people are maybe in the hallway, maybe coming into the rooms of the house, and just kind of thinking with that C.S. Lewis metaphor. And then also for fun, I have been reading this John Steinbeck book, East of Eden. It's been on my list for maybe 10 years, and finally this summer, I started reading it. But it's a story. Yeah, I had not read it until I read it, so I'll give you a little bit of synopsis here. It's a story of this family, the Trask family, and how they came to be. And it's a very generational story. So Steinbeck kind of moves us through generations, and he moves us geographically from like California and then to the East Coast and then back to California. And it's this, it's a very layered kind of narrative. And there's many, many parallels to the biblical story of Cain and Abel. And so I thought this was really interesting and important because I've also been watching the Jordan Peterson lectures, and they have been talking about, taking us through these narratives in Genesis and also kind of Genesis and telling us this very layered story as well. And so you'll see the parallel here. This is at a naming ceremony for the next generation. Adam Trask has had twins, and then there's a whole storyline, but it's a year later, and he's decided to name his twins. But as he's getting to that, there's a discussion. And so Samuel said, apply that to the Cain-Abel story. And Adam said, I didn't kill my brother. Suddenly he stopped and his mind went reeling back in time. Okay, I think I can, Lee answered Samuel. I think this is the best known story in the world. The Cain-Abel story is the best known story in the world because it is everybody's story. I think it is the symbol story of the human soul. I'm feeling my way now. Don't jump on me if I'm not clear. The greatest terror a child can have is that he is not loved, and rejection is the hell he fears. I think everyone in the world, to a large or small extent, has felt rejection. And with rejection comes anger, and with anger, some kind of crime and revenge for the rejection, and with the crime, guilt. And there is the story of mankind. I think that if rejection could be amputated, the human would not be what he is. Maybe there would be fewer crazy people. I'm sure in myself there would not be many jails. It is all there, the start, the beginning. One child refused the love he craves, kicks the cat and hides his secret guilt, and another steals so that money will make him loved. And a third conquers the world, and always the guilt and revenge and more guilt. The human is the only guilty animal. Now wait, therefore, I think this old and terrible story is important because it is a chart of the soul. The secret, rejected, guilty soul. Mr. Trask, you said you did not kill your brother, and then you remembered something. I don't want to know what it is. But was it very far apart from Cain and Abel? And what do you think of my Oriental pattern, Mr. Hamilton? You know I am no more Oriental than you are. Whatever. The point is, well, I don't think I have to say a point. I think there's got to be a way that these two narratives go together, these great literary thinkers. And I've certainly been thinking with them, and I think they sort of tell us a lot. I mean, I'm surrounded by sociology books, and so I'm thinking about this in a lot of different ways, but I think this sort of literary, it says something. I think it says something about the nature of the human condition, and then also the projects that I see happening in this little corner of the internet. So, tell me what you think, or don't. Okay.